welcome back to the Cheltenham Countdown YouTube channel again for another big weekend preview ahead of some busy and a lot of national hunt racing that's happening across the Irish Sea within UK and Ireland this weekend, guys. There's 4 particular meetings I want to look at in this episode this week, with some big meetings in Wetherby, Ascot, Down Royal and Carlisle as well. They're the big meetings I want to take a look at on this week's video. So it's going to be another action-packed episode with obviously the Rebound, looking back at Cheltenham last week. We've got some notable entries that I'll take a look at in the latest jumps news this week as well as the weekend preview and some best bets and tips along the way. But a bit of housekeeping before we start. If you do like this video, please give it a like, as you always have done in the last couple of weeks. Feel free to share out and about as well with your family and friends, as you always do. It doesn't go unnoticed, as I keep mentioning. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, as because a lot of you guys have been subscribing to my channel of late. Spread the word, put it about that I do this podcast purely for fun and purely for my interest on the sport, and I really do enjoy it. So that housekeeping is done. Thank you very much for that, and keep it going, keep improving the numbers, keep them shooting up, and I'll do my utmost to continue with the videos throughout the whole entire season. So let's get on with the show, starting off with the Rebound at Cheltenham last week. Rebound now, guys, and there's only 2 races from Cheltenham last week I want to take a big review and a big look at. Obviously back at how it panned out last week. First of all, we'll start off with the Fortune de Mare situation. He did win last Friday when I did cross him off completely from winning that race at Cheltenham in last week's race. And obviously I put my hands up, got that completely, utterly wrong. That was a bad selection or bad mistake for myself and a bad error to basically lay him, put him out of the equation of winning at all. Harry Skelton gave him a peach of a ride, timed to perfection, absolutely textbook ride from Harry Skelton on the day. And according to trainer Dan Skelton now, for Fortune de Mare's win last week, they're going to work back from the county hurdle at the festival in March, work back from that particular race. So could be an interesting type for that county hurdle come the festival, as Harry and Dan Skelton have obviously won that race before. So that would be an interesting path along the way on how they're going to work out a good handicap mark for Fortune de Mare before the county hurdle. Obviously, you've got to have a certain amount of runs over hurdles to get yourself into the race first of all. So we'll wait and see on how that horse's targets and plans happening during the season. But I think Fortune de Mare is a well-worthy type now for the county hurdle. Obviously, there's a lot of things to happen between now and then. But the fact he's won the race before Dan Skelton, he knows what it takes to have a horse to win that particular race, bodes well with Fortune de Mare. So hands up, got that wrong, and apologies to any of you that didn't want to back Fortune de Mare, because he went off about 14-1 or 12-1 on the day. So if you did back him, well done to you all, obviously, and I'm glad you went against me. The other race on Saturday that I want to take a look at in the second day's meeting at Cheltenham was Conman John, who won the race at Cheltenham on Saturday over 2 miles 7 furlongs in the novice hurdle there. He's now 25-1 best price for the Albert Bartlett, and I think the fact that the way he won that race last week was a good way of going about it. He did ride well from the front under Derek Fox, follow Cinder Russell, and he's a worthy type to go to the race for the time being. Obviously, there's a lot of things that happen in these races between now and the festival. The season only just got going, but 25-1 for the Bartlett looks fair enough at the time being. Not sure where the connections are going to send him next, but could be a worthy type and a likeable type for that particular race come March on the final day. So Conman John, 25-1 for the Albert Bartlett, looks, like I said, looks fair. I'd say it was a solid enough race, decent horses in behind, so the form will stack up come sooner rather than later, and we'll wait to see how Conman John goes in his next race prior to dipping himself into graded company. The next race for the Rebound I want to take a look at this week came at Aintree last Sunday, and he went the way of Hitman in the Grade 2 Old Roan Limited Handicap Chase over 2 miles 3 furlongs there. It happened on good or soft ground. There was a bit of rain there on the day, which made the ground a bit more softer than what it was. But Hitman did win the Grade 2, like I said, and did a very good ride from Freddie Ginger, who's in top form at the moment for Paul Nicholls. Obviously, Paul's won this race 4 times now with the likes of Koto Star as well. So Hitman is a 9-year-old turning 10. He's running this race. He ran in the Old Roan 2 years ago and last year, of course. So he's running in the race 3 times. And obviously had his head in front this time around. Off a mark of 153 on the day, so he will go up a couple of pounds, no doubt, based on that win last Sunday. And he did beat a couple of good horses on the day, the likes of Master Chewy for the Twiston Davises, Manila Drama, who won this race last year, Boom Bone, who came from Novice Company last year for the Skeltons, Imperial Saint, who was well fancied on the day, was favoured for the off for Philip Hobbs and Johnson White. He went off show price favourite on the day. And of course, the Hoy Senor, who I'm not sure what connections know what they're going to do with this horse now. He's been around the block for many years, Hoy Senor, and I don't know what they're going to do with him, because I'd say connections must be scratching their heads at the time being. So, but nonetheless, Hitman was a good winner, like I said, a worthy winner on the day, deserved the win. Has a couple of entries going forward in the Grand Sefton back at Aintree next month, as well as a Paddy Power Gold Cup entry as well back at Cheltenham. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. In my own opinion, I guess they probably go towards Aintree, sway towards more Aintree than Cheltenham. But because obviously they've got Il Ridotto and the same connections for the Paddy Power at Cheltenham, so I'd say Hitman could lean towards going towards Aintree for the Grand Sefton next time out. But interestingly, he's got those two entries going forward, and I'd say connections still have unfinished business with him. He's a 9-year-old, like I said, turning 10 next year, and connections probably would like another graded win under his belt just before he gets a bit more older and gets a bit more fragile as the older he gets. So nonetheless, again, like I said, a worthy winner, beating some good horses on the day. And yeah, deserved the win for Freddie Ginger and Paul Nichols. So congrats to connections. Obviously, the likes of the owners for Mason, Hales and Ferguson. So well done to them all. And I'm sure they'll have another good day in the sun with the likes of Il Ridotto and this horse again in the future, and some more wins and some more wins in big races. So yeah, that's the second race in the Rebound I want to take a look at. The next race will be coming up next, I think, from Ireland. I want to take a look at next. The one race in Ireland did happen on Monday. Monday just gone there. I want to take a big review at. It was in Wexford, if you guys didn't watch it at the start of the week. It was the Michael Hickey Memorial Chase, a listed contest for 5-year-old horses and over. Over 2 miles, 7 furlongs on good yielding ground. Only 4 runners in this race that happened on the day, and it went the way of Willie Mullins and Paul Townend on Blizzard of Oz, who went off 11 to 8 second favourite behind Rocky's Diamond, who he just beat by 3 parts of a length. Obviously, Rocky's Diamond did have a benefit of a run at Galway early on this season, whereas Blizzard of Oz hadn't had a run since Punchstone back in May. So it was a very good performance from Blizzard of Oz. He now could be a target for the Coral Gold Cup on Newbury in November, according to Simon Munir and Isaac Swade for Willie Mullins. So that was a decent performance from him. Obviously, he beat the other 2 horses in the race. If I Were a Rich Man for Paul Nolan and Monbeg Park for Jack Foley. But there was the front 2 in the market, the top 2 in the market, the front 2 in the race as well, who fought out at the end, and a very taking performance from Blizzard of Oz. I like the look of that performance, over 2 miles, 7 furlongs. So stepping up to 3 miles in the Coral Gold Cup will be a good thing for him. Rocky's Diamond, a decent novice chase start back at Galway, like I said, in his first novice chase start this season. This time around, he did make most of the running, whereas Blizzard of Oz did settle in behind and took it up after the final fence and just, like I said, won by 3 parts of a length. So 2 horses to take forward from that race were obviously the 2 at the front, and I think Rocky's Diamond could step back in trip personally, if that's the way they're swaying towards. Could be a nice type over a shorter intermediate distance, but Blizzard of Oz will be going up in trip towards the Coral Gold Cup. So, like I said, 2 taking performances there, but it went the way of, obviously, Paul Townend and the Master Willie. Before I get stuck into the previews, the tips, and the best bets for this weekend's action, I just want to give you some latest jumpsuits and some notable entries that's been happening of late. And obviously entries that's happening this weekend, first of all. We'll start off on Friday, 12:47 at Wetherby. There's a horse here called 6 Mile Bridge in a beginner's chase. Will be running over 2 miles, 3 furlongs. It's only a 3-runner race, which is a bit disappointing, but keep an eye on him. Like I said, 12:47 at Wetherby on Friday. 6 Mile Bridge for Fergal O'Brien. Like I said, it'll be his first novice chase start. I'd say he'll probably go off favourite. It's not a betting race in my personal opinion because of the lack of runners, the amount of runners in the race. But he's got some decent level of form to his name. Obviously finished won at Cheltenham in January last year, then finished 9th of 11th in the Turners at the festival last season. Scratch a line, draw a line to that because it was a hot race that Turners was, and there'll be plenty of winners from that Turners race at the festival happening again this season. But yeah, he's due to go over fences at Wetherby on Friday, and I'd like to keep an eye on him for that particular race. Other horses as well, moving forward. The Yellow Clay has an entry at Down, or is declared, I should say, for Down Royal on Friday as well. He's running in the bottle green listed hurdle there, over 2 miles though, which is a bit of a surprise because Connections and trainer Gordon Naylor have outlined that he is going to be a stayers hurdle type for this season. So the fact that he's running him over 2 miles on Friday, first run of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if people will take him on for that race. I'm not going to be putting him up or putting anyone up in that particular race this weekend, but I would not be surprised if people do tend to go against the Yellow Clay for that race this weekend. And the final notable entry I want to just mention, guys, is Romeo Coolio, who does have an entry this weekend at Down Royal in a novice chase, beginner's chase there. Running over 2.5 miles there. I think he's going to be a star of fences, I hope. I did back him for the Supreme last season in my first anti-post bet of that particular season last year. And I've been waiting to see him to go over fences. Again, for the third time now, it's not a betting proposition. So 6 Mile Bridge, the Yellow Clay and Romeo Coolio, none of them are going to be as part of my tips this weekend, but I am very excited to see Romeo Coolio should say, over fences this season. And starting him off over the intermediate trip of 2.5 miles is a good thing because it can go either way. If he doesn't perform well, or does perform well, I should say, you can step him up in trip and see how he does fare higher up in distance, or you can bring him back down in trip and see if he's a speedier type. So it's a good starting point for Gordon Elliott and the owners, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. So they're the notable entries, the 3 notable entries I've mentioned now as part of the latest Chimps news I want to take a look at this weekend. Weekend preview time, and this is where I'm going to start off with a horse who's running at Down Royal Friday, 2 minutes past 1, so 1:02 on Friday at Down Royal. It's a horse to follow of mine, and a horse that could go to the top. It's the Flying King for Gordon Elliott, who will be ridden by Jack Kennedy. I've got this horse as a horse to follow, guys, like I said to you in the early part of the season. He's a grey gelding, a very good-looking horse. His last race was a bumper at, I think it was Wexford, I do believe. Wexford, he won that bumper well. Stepping him up to 2 miles, 6 furlongs in this maiden hurdle is going to be perfect for him because he is a stayer. He's one I'm looking forward to seeing down the line as a potential graded horse for Gordon Elliott. I'm certainly a go-off favourite, and I probably will back him despite his odds. Probably will see, prices aren't out for this race yet, obviously, for Down Royal on Friday for this race, and this maiden hurdle, the opening race of the card. But I'd say he could go off favourite, and I probably will tip him up as well. Maybe if even if his odds on, I could stick him in a double or a treble or even part of my ACCA. But nonetheless, it'll be a tip for me at the Flying King, and he won his point-to-point in Ireland at the beginning of his career. I've been waiting to see him stepping up in trip, and I think this will be a perfect opportunity for him to kickstart over obstacles. So he's in there against types I literally can't make cases for. I can't really read into their form. And I think the Flying King is very much the classiest horse in this race. So I expect him to win. I think he will win, and he'll be my first tip of the weekend. So that's the Flying King, Down Royal, Friday, 2 minutes past 1. Next tip for the weekend preview I want to take a look at now, guys, and it's a competitive little race. This is at Ascot at 2:05 Saturday afternoon. It's a handicap chase over 2 miles and a furlong, headed by Lear de Sud for Dan Skelton, but Christian Durrell claiming the £3 will ride Lear de Sud on the day. He's at 7-2. He won't be my selection. My selection is going to be Martator, second in the market at 6-1, trained by Venetia Williams. He'll be ridden by Ned Fox, who's claiming £5 as well. Now, the reason I'm picking Martator is he won this race last year under Charlie Deutsch, went off a 6-1 again that day as well. Off 1-3-4 on that day last year. He then went back to Ascot later that month in November of last season. Won under Ned Fox as well that day. Off 140. He does come into this race off 141, so a pound higher than winning the second race at Ascot last season, but Ned Fox does claim a viable £5 off as well. So Martator won this race last year, like I said. I do think it's going to be between him and Sans Bui, who's number 3 in the race on Saturday. He'll be ridden by J. Tidbull, claiming £5 for Paul Nichols. I just think it's going to be between Martato and Salisbury on the day. I'm going to side with the winner from last year, Martato, like I said. Like I said earlier, it's a competitive race. 13 runners go to post. It's a good pot of a race too. 56,000 goes to the winner. It's a good little prize money for this Class 1 handicap chase. I'm siding with Martato. I just think that race last year, he had more in hand, and obviously coming back at Ascot later on, his second run of the season, back at Ascot over 2 miles off the same trip that day as well. So a coursing distance winner twice. I think he's got it all to win. I think he'll be winning this, and off 6-1, he's a little good price as well for you all if you want to back each way too. So Leo de Soud is going into the chase of 155, carrying Limestone 12. That's going to be a big ask if he can claim victory here. I am, like I said, going to side on Martato for Venetia Williams, who does get her horses gradually into form at this time of the year. So he'll be my selection in the 2:05 at Ascot on Saturday afternoon. Next race to preview, guys, and a tip as well along the way. Comes at Wetherby at 2:22 on Saturday in the Grade 2 West Yorkshire Hurdle Reg. Obviously, the Bet365 Hurdle Reg is the West Yorkshire Hurdle. I do like strong leader here. He's a short price favourite at the moment, 13-8. He does prefer flatter tracks, and Wetherby has flat. It's not as flat as other tracks such as Aintree or Newbury on other courses such as flatter tracks like them. But Wetherby is flat-ish, and I think strong leader does not like undulating tracks for sure. He does not like courses like Cheltenham and Chepstow and other courses. Probably won't even like Ascot as well, to be fair. So a track like this for his first start of the season is ideal. I think he'll win under Sean Bowen for Ollie Murphy. The only worry I do have for him is first time out, he can be a little bit hit and miss. So I do want to catch him on a good day. This is probably another good race for him in leading out for the rest of the season, for other graded races on flatter tracks throughout the season as well. Other horses in this race to take a look at are Potter's Charm running in open company for the first time for the Twiston Davises. He's 15-8. I wouldn't want to touch him at 15-8, I tell you that now, because he didn't really look as if he could stay 2 or 3 miles in the Turner's race at the festival last season. Yet, obviously, they may have worked their magic with him at the yard of the stable in training. Doddy the Great, who won the Thames final last season, is in here as well. Off 142, I think that's a bit of a big ask for him potentially. You got Winterfog in there and Take No Chances as well as the other 2 runners. 5 runners, I think strongly that 13-8 is a decent bit of value, to be fair. I thought it'd be slightly towards evens, maybe odds on, to be honest. So I will have a bit of a nibble on him on that particular price. And with Sean Bowen, obviously the way he's riding is outstanding. Ollie Murphy's in fine form. I'd happily back him as well. So strongly there will be my selection in the Bet365 Hurdle, the Grade 2 on Saturday, 2:22 at Following the race at Wetherby at 2:22, we're moving on to 2:40, but this time at Down Royal on Saturday in the Bet Victor Champion Chase, the first Grade 1 of the Irish season. 7 runners got a post in this 3-mile contest, headed by last year's winner and a phenomenal horse in his own right in Envoy Allen for Henry de Bromhead. 15-8 at the moment you can get for him on that particular race. He comes alive at this meeting every year. He comes alive in this race and has an excellent record at this meeting as well, making it 5 wins in the last 6 years. I don't know whether I can back him in this particular race, but there's nobody else in this race I want to back either. So I will wait at the moment on who I do side with. It may be Envoy Allen come the day. If there is a slight drift for him on the day and he goes pop out to just over 2-1, 9-4, I will definitely be backing him, but slightly not 15-8 at the moment. So I do want to wait on the day for potentially backing Envoy Allen. But other horses in this race to take a look at as well, not just Envoy Allen. You've got Spillane's Tower, who's second favourite in the race, second in the market. Founder 15 there, 5-1 for Jack Kennedy and Gordon Elliott. Stellar Story, another horse for Gordon Elliott as well, who could go well. Western Fold, another one for Gordon Elliott, ridden by Sam Hughes. So Gordon Elliott does have a strong hold in this race, but it's Henry de Bromhead's horse Envoy Allen, who's an 11-year-old now, that takes all the beating, I think. And it's just the price. I think if people do start backing Spillane's Tower at 9-4, and that means Envoy Allen's price does go out, then that means I'm going to have a bit of a price on him and a bit of a punt on Envoy Allen. it's a decent race. I wouldn't say it's the best champion chase you're going to get at Down Royal, but to see Envoalen again here in this meeting does headline the particular card. And yeah, I think he's the best horse in this race and should be the market leader. But it's just the price at the moment. Like I said, I keep coming back to his price in the market at the moment. I wouldn't want to side with him. We shall see. I will have a tip come the day. It probably will turn out to be the Chile Park horse in Envoalen, but I don't want to put him up just yet. So it's just going to be a bit of a preview part of the show with this race. So we'll go further in terms of seeing where the horses can go well. Like I said, I think Stellar Story is a bit of an intriguing run. He won the Albert Bartlett not so long ago, but will need to improve to come into open company this season. Like I said, Spillane's Tower did flop in the King George last season. Found the 50s intriguing, but I wouldn't want to back him either. So it's a bit of a preview more than a tip in this particular race, guys. But headlined by Envoalen, who I'll still probably side with. Back to Wetherby now, 2:57 Saturday, and it's the 3 mile Bet 365 Charlie Hall Chase. I do really like this race. I've always loved the Charlie Hall Chase since growing up, and it's always a decent renewal. This year, it's a bit of a head scratcher more than your solid odds-on type of superstar type favourite. But it's an open race, which is good for punting, of course, good for betting and good for punters. Headed this year by Protectorate at 5-2 for Harry Skelton and Dan Skelton. Hewick is in there at 7-2 for Gavin Sheehan and John Joseph Shark Hanlon. Pickdory for Harry Cobden and Paul Nichols is 4-1. Jello for Charlie Deutsch, Vinish Williams 5-1. The Real Whacker, last year's winner, the reigning champ, at 7-1 for Brian Hughes and Pat Neville. And the outside of the 6-runner field, is Gallo for Johnny Burke and Jamie Snowden, currently at 20-1. Like I said, it's a head scratcher. There's horses in here that's I'm not fans of, but with a solid types. Like, for example, I'm not a fan of Jello for some reason for Venetia Williams and Charlie Deutsch. I'm not a big fan of him as a I don't usually back him at all, and I will be backing him this weekend. He's one I'm definitely gonna I daren't say cross off, but I'm definitely gonna not be putting my money towards him. Pickdory is more of a 2.5 miler type. I don't think it's going to be interesting to see if he stays 3 miles. I wouldn't want to put my money on him staying 3 miles for the first time really here at Wetherby, although he could stay because he's a touted for a Kempton King George type as well, so wait and see on him. But I wouldn't want to serve them this weekend, especially at 4-1 as well. That's a bit too short. So the Real Whacker, who I did back last season in this race, he's a shout. He's got a good chance, I do feel, but there's a type in here I think is more solid, and the solid top type for me this year is going to be Protectorate for Harry Skelton and Dan Skelton. He is the favourite at the moment at 5-2, so it's a bit of a short price again. I'm leaning towards. Apologies for that, but he is who I'm going to be siding with. I think we know he stays. We know he stays 3 miles, and yeah. He's not a horse as a vintage superstar, like I said to you earlier, but he does jump soundly. I don't think he's ever fallen in his life. He has unseated his rider once, but that was well early in his career. But he's never fallen, thank God. And he's a solid type. He has been running over shorter distances. He has been messed around with as well in terms of races that they've put him in. Obviously, they put him in the Paddy Power Gold Cup last season. They put him in Aintree as well, at Windsor, all over different types of distances and trips. This is his solid chance, I think, to win a graded race again, Protectorate. And at 3 miles, Wetherby, good ground. I think he'll take the beating personally. He is the highest rated in the race off 165, but he's going to be receiving weight of some runners as well. He's going to be receiving weight of Pickdory, Jello, and the Real Whacker, which I think will stand him in good stead. So I thought before Dex today that it will be between him and Hewick in the contest. I just think Hewick, who's more sound over his hurdles than fences, although he did win a King George a couple of years ago, he's leaning towards being a better horse over hurdles, whereas we know Protectorate is a fine horse over fences. So that bodes well in terms of this race for Protectorate, I feel. And as a 10-year-old, I don't mind his age in this particular race. We have had some older horses winning this race as well previously. Hewick is also a 10-year-old, just to let you know, as is Pickdory. So I'm going to side with Protectorate, like I said. It would be him I'll be putting up in the Charlie Hall chase this year. 5-2 at the moment. I hope there's a bit of a drift on him as well, like I mentioned with Envalen earlier. If Protector does go to about 3-1, 7-2, even touching 4-1, I'll be having a punt on him as well. So a bet on him, I should say. So yeah, 6 runners go to post on good ground. 19 fences will be jumped, and obviously you get those 4 in the straight at Wetherby. You have to go ping, 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 ping again on the home straight. And I think Protector, like I said, he's a fine jumper. Nothing wrong with his jumping at all. He can get quite keen if he doesn't have a lead. But like I said, you keep coming back to the solid type in this race is going to be Protector for Harry Skelton. So he will be my selection in the Charlie Hall chase this year. 257 as I mentioned right at the start of the episode. Of course, there's a 4th meeting I want to take a look at on this week's episode, on this week's video. It comes from Carlisle. We don't usually go to Carlisle for our weekend previews on here, but we are this time around. It's going to happen on Sunday at 2:37 Sunday afternoon. The 2.5 mile Colin Parker Memorial Intermediate Chase, a listed contest. 16 fences will be jumped. There's currently good ground they have there in Carlisle. So there's no market at the moment. Obviously, decks, I don't think decks have been out yet, so we will wait and see. But as a horse here, I really do fancy it. It is the first horse in the race, the first number 1 in the race at the moment. It's Gidley Park. Now, he hasn't got a jockey book in yet, so we'll wait to see if he does definitely run. But there are some brilliant horses in this race at the moment. The likes of Gidley Park, Handstands in there for Ben Jones and Ben Pauling, The Changing Man for Joe Tizard, Resplendent Greys in there for Ollie Murphy, and there's a few nice others, including The Kaluki Kid, Deafening Silence, and Deep Cave for Christian Williams, a new recruit for Christian Williams as well. So the Colin Parker on Sunday, I'm gonna, like I said, if Gidley Park does definitely run, I will be siding with him. It's over 2.5 miles and he's got good form over that trip, including a second bin in Perry Pass at Aintree at the back end of last season. Handstands is, like I said, a potential Gold Cup type. Now, if he wins this, it'd be another intriguing, good horse for Ben Pauling all season. I think first time out, I'd rather him have the run, improve from the run, and see if he can step up and trip to a better horse and open company for the rest of the campaign. The Changing Man, I think, will have better opportunities for the rest of the season. Resplendent Grey, I don't think is quick enough for this type of race, but we'll wait to see. He could run a big race for Sean Bowen and Ollie Murphy. So they're the 4 main types in this race I wanted to note down. Gidley Park, like I said, who I will be siding with if he's definitely going to go off 155 mark. I think that's okay. £2 less than handstands, and £8 more than Resplendent Grey as well. So it's a bit of a mark on him, but I think he's capable of winning over 2.5 miles, especially on a listed contest as well. So I don't see any issue with Gidley Park whatsoever. So Harry Fry, who won with Idaho's Son, a horse to follow with on Sunday, he's bringing his main stars out to show, out to play with now, and I think Gidley Park could be the next one that we see on track and potentially winning a race. So he will be my pick in the Colin Parker on Sunday, 2:37 at Carlisle. To end the show with, as always, guys, I'm going to give you my best bet and nap of the entire weekend across the 4 meetings of the weekend in the UK and Ireland. I need to get better at these best bets and naps, so I do really acknowledge I did have a mess last week at Cheltenham. But this time around, I'm going to go with my best bet and my most bullish selection of the entire weekend. It's going to come at Ascot on Saturday at 2:05, like I mentioned to you earlier. I have to back Martator. He loves good ground, which is the description of the course at the moment there. He's going to be riding with Ned Fox in the saddle, claiming £5. £1 higher than what he won with last season. Ned Fox claims £5 off him. It just makes sense. He's won at Ascot twice on good ground, over course and distance. I can't back against him, I should say. So he'll be my best bet of the entire weekend's racing at Saturday, Ascot, 2:05. I do really like Protectorat in the Charlie Hall chase as well, and Strong Leader's a bit of a strong selection as well. So there's 3 there, but I will go with Martator, currently 6-1, decent value, and I look forward to seeing how he goes on Saturday. But I've given you 6 tips in all throughout the weekend. The weekend's action for me, and Martator is going to be my best bet. If you have enjoyed this video, guys, and watched it from start to finish, I do hope you've really enjoyed it. Give it a like if you have as well. It does really help myself and boost the channel as well. Give the Cheltenham Countdown as much focus as you want throughout the entire season. Pass the name on to anyone you like, to your family, friends, anyone you wish to speak about. I hope you guys do enjoy my content and my videos. And feel free to share as well while you're doing so. Share the videos so anyone can watch them on YouTube along the way. Please obviously subscribe to my channel. It has helped me in the last couple of weeks gain more subscribers from you all, which is very, very much appreciated. And obviously comment under this video who your best bet or nap is for the entire weekend's racing. It can be a Friday, Saturday or Sunday race card anywhere across the UK and Ireland. I will read them all. And if any of you win with your best bet or nap through the entire weekend's racing, I will be making a shout out for you all, for any of you that do win with your horse in your selection in next week's video. So that is it. That's it for the entire big weekend preview of action this weekend. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching.